John and Ken Show. John Cobell and Ken Champeau, KFI AM 640.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're not stopping. We're going to keep going. No break. Moist Line people will be here. We won't be breaking until near the bottom of the hour. So stay with us for lots of good stuff. And we're going to begin just where we promised we would begin. We thought you would enjoy this. You can also check it out on the website. It's from the National Review. And what it is, it's almost 2 minutes long, too. It's a montage of the TV pundits you have all so carefully watched and mocked the last year or so, predicting that Hillary Clinton was on her way to a landslide win over Trump.
Listen to the confidence, the absolute certainty, the smugness in their voices.
I asked the same question. Why aren't they all fired? And if they were just guests, how come they're ever coming back on again? When you look at CNN, it's the same stupid talking heads as before the election who said stuff like this.
18 months they've been wrong now. 18 months of being wrong. Well,
get off the stage.
This was the finale. This all happened in the final 24 hours before the election. Here we go. 2 minutes of landslide predictions.
A lot of people have no idea that Trump is headed for a historic defeat. That's why I think the larger the defeat, in a sense, the healthier it will be for the Republican Party, at least if it doesn't bring Paul Ryan's speakership down with him and there's a kind of healthy divided government, because it might be a wake-up call to those Republicans who have existed in this little thought bubble of their own that this isn't a winning form of politics.
Then this election, not only does Florida fall to Hillary Clinton, but this election overall we could be talking landslide. And so
Hillary Clinton today is more likely to win in a landslide that would not only have an impact on this race, but realign the country politically to some extent than Donald Trump is to win narrowly or at all.
I mean, let's say it is a 4-point margin. That would translate to an electoral majority and probably electoral landslide for Hillary Clinton.
Margin of error, margin of error. This could be tight, or it could be a landslide for Hillary.
Okay, so everybody is saying, most analysts are saying that Hillary Clinton's going to win in a landslide and that Ohio won't much matter this time around. Do you agree?
If this collapse of support among women that you talked about in Senator, if that spreads among women voters all across the country, he's going to lose by a landslide, and they could lose the Senate and the House.
GOP officials now fear that if Donald Trump loses by a landslide, he could take down the congressional majorities with him.
Not only am I concerned about the presidential race, I'm concerned about what the impact on down ballot races, including
being overly cautious just because I'm trying to be a little risk averse in my predictions, but I think that she's going to have a very good night
So
tomorrow.
the technical term for that, if she's anywhere near your prediction, would be blowout.
Landslide. I give a landslide. I don't know.
I would say a
landslide.
My bad.
That's still happening, actually. That's
You cackling chickens. You don't know crap.
Wow.
What a bunch of losers. You know nothing. Nothing.
I kept thinking about that idea of the feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
Sometimes once a member of this media gets going on a point, they all copy it because they don't want to be behind in the narrative.
Well, you know what I read? And I actually think this was part of that piece we read on the air yesterday.
By Will Ron.
Will Ron from
By the way, that's
CBS.
on the website. The Unbearable Smugness of the Press, it's called. And you can click it on the website if you want to read it.
I read more than half of it, but there just wasn't time to read the whole thing. And one of the things he talked about is, most normal people don't spend their days writing on Twitter, right? But journalists love to write on Twitter, okay? And they love to Twitter each other.
Ah, now I get it.
And the whole Twitter relationship between these people means you have to conform. Because if you present a thought that goes at odds with the consensus, all the other journalists on Twitter shout you down and mock you. They make fun of you. And you know how savage everybody gets. So it suppresses dissent. You can't be a writer who says, you know what, I think Trump is actually going to do very well in the Midwest. You can't do that. everyone's going to scoff. Oh, really? Look at this poll. Oh, yeah, genius. Look at this poll.
It's the peer pressure.
Yeah, it is. And so anybody who does have a subversive thought is, because of peer pressure,
crushed.
Yeah,
They're crushed.
Absolutely crushed.
Yep.
So they end up talking to each other, reinforcing each other, and nobody wants to be uncool. See, to be supporting Trump in any way is to be uncool. And all these wieners,
they're in their echo chamber.
They all want to be the cool kids. And they don't want...
That's like Will Kahn said. We all believe we're going to save the republic.
Right. I
by
mean,
carrying the fight against Trump.
The snotty smugness, arrogance of the Washington, New York media.
And how many times did we say...
Overwhelming.
The media missed it. While they obsessed with Trump's taxes and what Miss Universe said, they forgot this crowd in the Midwest and those key states who are really feeling it economically.
If you don't have a job, are you going to sit there and worry about anything else other than you don't have a job? You really going to care about what Trump said on a bus 11 years ago? About a stupid fight with Miss Universe? Or even the email scandal, for that matter? You going to worry about any of that?
Or instead
you don't have a job.
If I vote for Hillary, it's at least 4 more years of what Obama that didn't help me.
That's right. I got boned the last 8 years.
Now, having said that, and that's part of where we're going to go next, these protests, it reminds me of when Obama was first elected in 2008 and the famous piece of audio from a woman who said, I'm going to get my mortgage paid.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have preached on the show how many times that this is not your almighty father. The president of the United States is not going to save your life. You got to take responsibility for yourself. Same thing's sort of going on here. Somewhat with the people that supported Trump in those states that, you know, he might be able to enact some policies that helps them find work again and a more stable life. But these people in the streets, too, who just believe that their whole universe is controlled by who's ever in the White House. They're so worked up. Oh, my rights are going to be taken away. Oh, my God, my life is over. My life is changed. And they're just panicking. Way out of proportion to the importance of it.
There is some weird human desire to believe in gods.
That's sort of where this derives from.
You know, in the ancient days, right, all the primitives ran around and they were spooked by the sun god and the moon god and the fire god and the wind god, and it made them all crazy, right? So they started sacrificing animals and children, and they were constantly trying to please the gods. And then as time went on, it became gods that at least used to be human, right? Jesus or Muhammad, right? But it was some human form of a god. And then they built religions around that. And then now religion is fading in influence for a lot of people. And so now what do we have? We have either media gods or political gods. And we're looking at presidents now that they have all-powerful control over their lives, positive or negative. And you imbue them with like almost supernatural powers. And Obama played into that. If you remember, he claimed he was going to lower the seas. Remember? He was going to lower the seas.
It was just a metaphor, wasn't it? Or
No, he meant that. Because he was going to reverse global warming. So the glaciers would stop melting, and then the seas would stop rising.
Oh, what's Trump going to do about all that stuff? I heard he might even undo the Paris agreements or from last December.
Oh, yeah. No, the ocean's going to go all the way to Phoenix once he's done.
It's going to be quite a 4 years.
Yeah, that's
all right. Well, as I look up, of course, CNN covering the latest round of street protests. They've got cameras in Miami and Philadelphia. People taken to the streets. They always wait for darkness in these cities to start protesting the Trump presidency.
And Anderson Cooper is standing there in all his prissiness, his arms folded, disapproving.
Now, locally, we had quite a mess last night here in L.A. with over 200 people arrested.